Now, Friday Night Football is back yet again. We've got more than a dozen local games happening in our area tonight, with the very biggest coming and right here in Eugene. It's a rematch of last year's 4A title game, Henley versus Marist, and KEZI 9 sports reporter Brett Taylor joins us from Kevin Teller Field ahead of tonight's top 5 matchup. Brett?
Hey, Matt, it's a great night for Friday Night Football, and it may be one of the biggest matchups in the state this entire season. You already mentioned it. It's a rematch of last year's 4A state title game, Marist versus Henley. It's the number one team in Marist taking on the number 3 team in Henley, according to the coaches poll this season. We've got a lot of new faces with both of these teams this season. And to break it all down, I want to bring in first-year head coach for the Marist Spartans, Zach Loboy, to join us to kind of talk about it. Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, I know you've got a big matchup ahead of you guys. It's kind of a revenge game for you. How is this team feeling heading into tonight's game?
Oh, they're excited. They're excited. It's a good opportunity for them, and they're expecting to win.
Over the last couple of, obviously, weeks that I've covered and talked to you guys, a lot of the players, they talked to me about how they felt with this game, the sting that they felt after that loss. How have you been kind of keeping them focused heading into this game to make sure that they don't overcomplicate things, that they don't overthink things when they take the field tonight?
Yeah, we've just been following our process, right, that we do every week. We've been going through all of our drills, all of our scheme, making sure that they understand and are familiar with it and comfortable, and I expect them to do a good job.
Look, Henley, obviously a lot of new faces in this roster. They had 21 seniors graduate last season, but one of the biggest returners for their squad is their quarterback in Joseph Jenny. Last year's game, look, he tore up the field, especially on the ground. He had nearly 200 yards rushing and 5 total touchdowns. How do you guys kind of maintain him inside of the pocket, and what do you think is going to be the key to success in limiting his playmaking ability tonight?
Well, you know, our defensive line up front is better, bigger, stronger. We've got some really good defensive ends in Jackson Christian and Jackson Skinner, so we hope to contain them that way. And coaching up kids on staying in their lanes. But obviously, you're right. You know, he's a good athlete, and the Henley group is well coached. They're a good program, so I expect a good game.
And a new, obviously, head coach on the helm this season for them. What have you seen? Obviously, only one game, but what do you know from head coach Matt Green and the type of style that he brings for this Henley offense this season?
Yeah, well, again, like I said, they're well coached. We've only had the one game to watch. The game that they played last week against Lakeview doesn't show a whole heck of a lot, so we're expecting a lot of what we saw last year.
Nick Hudson, obviously returning this year as a senior. He was incredible last year, one of the best quarterbacks in the state. He threw for 47 touchdowns, nearly 4,000 yards. What have you seen from him this year, and how do you make sure that he has success tonight against Henley?
Yeah, you know, with a kid like Nick, he's really even-keeled, and so, you know, just keeping him even, playing at the same speed that he has been, and just making good decisions, right? He's a kid who has grown a year, makes better decisions now than he did last year, and I expect that it'll come through tonight.
Obviously a big game to kind of start off the season, week 3. I don't think usually we see this type of matchup early in the season. What can this type of game do for your guys' team moving into the rest of the season?
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, if we win, then we have a lot of momentum built up, right, moving into the rest of the season. You know, things don't go our ways. It's, you know, lessons to be learned, and only will motivate us more.
Biggest key, you think, in this one for Marist to get a win tonight against Henley?
Well, I think there's 2 things. I think we just need to keep our foot on the gas offensively, and then we need to make good decisions defensively.
All right, Coach Zach Loboy joining us here. Coach, thank you. I appreciate your time. I'll let you get back ready for the game. We're about 26 minutes away from tip-off, so I'll let you get back to your team, and I really appreciate your time. Again, one of the best matchups in the state, not only tonight, but potentially for the season. It's number 1 Marist taking on number 3 Henley. That rematch of last year's 4A state title game. We're going to have the highlights from this one coming up a little bit later on KEZI 9 Sports at 11 o'clock. But more importantly, it's not even just KEZI 9 Sports. It's the return of Friday Night Blitz. Of course, week 2. We had week 1 last week, and now we're back for this week. But until we get to those highlights and the post-game coverage, this is Brett Taylor reporting live at Marist High School, KEZI 9 Sports.